Hello and welcome to the MegaMonsterCast, where today we are talking about episode 9 of Ultraman G'd. I'm Nick. With me are Alex and Josh.
Hello.
Uh,
Hello
for
there.
for our viewer out there, we love you. Uh,
Jesus.
yeah, for our viewer out there, you may notice that
It's me.
we're I'm gonna be real. Like for a while there, I was our main viewer. No, for our viewer out there, you may notice that we're watching in the same clothes as last time. That's because this is a back-to-back recording. Get ready to
Back
see these
to
out
back.
these outfits for 4 different episodes.
For the binge watchers among you,
Uh-huh.
I am one of you. No,
Yeah.
you're
So
not.
this episode we're going to talk about confirming Alex's hopes that Leto's family remains relevant.
Guess what? They don't. They're irrelevant now.
That is such a deep misrepresentation of my feelings and my aspirations. I do not appreciate the slander that
I'm
is
saying that
occurring here.
they stay
I
relevant.
specifically said that I wanted them to remain relevant, and how dare you, sir?
I mean, his daughter is very relevant for this episode. Okay,
Yeah.
apparently his daughter is not relevant at all for this episode, despite this
No,
episode being about how
how
she
dare
gets
you?
a little
How dare
star.
you misrepresent me? Feel so attacked.
So yeah,
This is bad for my.
this episode
This
is
is bad for my
about
reputation.
You're this close to being held in contempt, Alex.
so this episode is
Objection! Objection!
the Sword of an Oath is about Leto's daughter getting a little star.
Oh, she was always a little star to us.
hmm
You
So
haven't mentioned her once, you bastard.
What?
You haven't mentioned her once, you bastard.
Who gives a shit? She's irrelevant to the storyline.
yeah, so now she has the ability to open up portals, which I've said this
She's
before.
a jumper.
Yep.
It's literally the only power I've ever wanted.
So
From Jumper?
So her, like I've talked about how the little star you, recipient gets a power related to the Ultraman that the little star represents. So
Well,
like,
that's what makes them a part of the new capsules, right?
mhm. And specifically, be, like she can open portals, which, as I talked about last episode, something that Ultraman Zero is known to do is open fucking wormholes. So shocker, Leto's daughter gets the Ultraman Zero little star, and Leto is Ultraman Zero. It's all one big old circle here. A
I
circle
have
that
to.
opens
You
a
might
wormhole.
say a portal.
Yep,
I'll
we do
just
get
make one
quite
of mine.
a lot of portals this episode.
Solid fucking joke on my end. Fuck you.
Who are you?
See? This is why I have the B little star.
How long have you been sitting on that joke, dude?
Um, when did we start this season?
Probably 3 months ago.
Goddamn right.
Mhm.
Excellent. Well done. All right, moving on.
Yep. So yeah, they scan the daughter and like, yeah, this girl has a
Roll
little
for
star.
psychic damage.
Yep. Oh yeah, she has a little star, and then we get a flashback of Fukui Decay being an asshole, and then Zero takes
Yeah.
over to talk. And we cut
We-
to some characters we haven't seen in a couple of episodes.
Finally.
Yeah. We get our Defense Force members, who again are just the Men in Black this season.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of them in these episodes.
No, we don't, which is kind of a bummer, but we do get more of them again soon. It's just the last couple of episodes especially have been really focused on developing Leto,
Later.
which we need if
I
he's
mean,
going to be the secondary Ultra for the show.
yeah, I feel like we haven't been saddled with this the same kind of dynamic before.
Mhm.
So I'm not really upset with them because spending some time with the principal cast, because I feel like based on the episodes up to this point that they do care about the rest of the cast,
Yep.
and that will come back to reinforce their characters and then bring it all together. I have a lot more faith in this series than I have had in, like, say, Arc. Like, I had no faith that the characters in Arc were gonna get their own spotlight per se.
Yeah, and that was a fair assumption with quite a few of them, honestly, where they
Yeah.
like with this one, there's
Or
always like the
or if
potential.
you'd want to, which is really a shame as well, because like I think there's a lot that could have been gained from spending some time with the characters in Arc. I just feel like every character in this series, and I'm not going to try to name every one of them because
Mm,
I've been proven to be very poor at knowing the names of the characters I'm trying to reference. But like every single character here,
Riku.
shut your.
go on.
You knew what I meant.
I had a cough. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We all heard what it was, anyways. But every single character in Jeed has so much more personality than I think the whole group of Arc did.
Yep.
And I think that's such a shame because I liked a lot of the actors and actresses that were there. And I liked a lot of the ideas that were present. It just felt like they didn't want to take that experience forward and they wanted I just did I don't know. I don't know what the major malfunction was, but it did not come across the same way that this series already has. Like we're what is this, episode 8,
Yep.
right? So we're 8 episodes
Oh, no,
in
not
and I
nine.
care
We're 9 episodes in. But
oh,
yeah,
I'm sorry, we're 9 episodes in and I care so much more about even these side characters more than I ever did about um any of the characters in Arc. Like
mhm. Well, I think also part of that just comes from like,
Except for Shu.
well, I mean,
Shu,
she was the
she was up there because Shu
storyline.
had a personality.
Yeah, and
She was the only one that had character development.
that's what I was gonna say is like all these characters are characters. Like there's clearly something going on with each one of them where like the writers and the actors knew who these people were going to be, like who they are and where they were going. And I feel like that was the biggest problem with Arc was it didn't really know where the show was going, so the characters couldn't grow with the show. I feel like like the characters in this show are allowed to feel more emotions than the ones in Arc were.
Yeah, and I don't think I was really expecting them to be this. I was willing to give them a lot of the benefit of the doubt. Like they didn't have to be this developed character in the beginning, but I would like to see them be dynamic characters.
Mhm.
Just
But
characters.
but in comparison, these characters could remain static and not be dynamic, and they'd have more personality than we ended up with.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like again, the show does a really good job of like because I think and we'll get back on track with the episode. It's proper, but because it introduces the characters at a gradual pace, I think it does a better job of developing them. Like we start off and it's just Riku and Pega and Rem to an extent. We'll get more. Rem's not much of a character yet, but she gets developed too, which is nice.
See, I wasn't expecting Rem to get any development at this point because we've spent so much time with so many different characters that am invested in several of their storylines.
Yep.
Like Rem could easily be less than a side character, and I wouldn't really have a problem with it overall. As far as like the way I view the season is.
Yeah. But like, so we get those 3 at the beginning. Then the next episode is just there to introduce and develop who Liha is. Then the episode after that is just there to introduce and develop Leto and Zero, which Zero was already a pre-established character, so they knew what his personality was going to be like. But like developing Leto and finding the correct actor for him was like a huge thing. Then the episode after that was just there to develop the Defense Force members so we could have them as characters. And it does it at a gradual pace where it's one unit each episode for those first 4 episodes. So we get a sense of who each one of those characters is. I think that's what this show does well is it doesn't try to throw them all together at once. It gradually introduces your characters so you can see
Yeah,
who
it's like
they are.
it's like when you finally find out what Miss Misato's reason for being is.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. Again, I told you were going to eventually like that. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So this episode continues on. Yeah,
I was like, oh my god, it's finally
Yep.
happening.
It's not happening yet. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt.
You're a bitch.
You're a bitch.
so they need to find information about the connection between the little stars and what is going on with Belial.
Belial Conto.
Because we know something's still going on with Belial, but we haven't gotten specifics on that yet. And then Liha has this great idea of let's bring her to the Nebula house, which is this point is where my assumption is that Mayu figures out that her dad is someone special, probably an Ultraman. And then they introduce her to Pega.
He's probably a Skywalker, and we all know it.
Yep. I mean,
You take that back.
I mean,
You're a monster.
again, this shit.
I won't.
I accurately described this episode of this entire series with vague Star Wars references.
It was so sad is this does a better Star Wars than Disney has since
I
Rogue
said
One.
that too. I said this was the best Star Wars property released in 2017. I'm not wrong.
Bro, the amount of effort that Josh and I put into the lore and the effort of being genuine Star Wars fans together in the community is just like, I feel like you could insult us in any number of ways about this, and it will never be close to the amount of shame that we feel with how it all turned out.
Yeah. Whereas I committed to this show, and this show is like, hey, just do what you fucking want. And I was like, all right, cool.
There's some diamonds in that rough, man.
No, I mean, I get it.
But
I get it. You guys keep talking. One second, I'm gonna go get the Dago.
I just wanted, I've been really enjoying Jeed. But if we want to talk about Star Wars while Nick's gone, man, come on, give it to me, Josh.
No.
We'll hold it for later.
Yeah. So, Mayu freaks out when she sees Pega and immediately leaves. And teleports off to the park that her and her dad were supposed to hang out at. But because
I'm sorry I haven't said this before. I just gotta stop you and say, like, Leto's hair drives me insane, and I love it so much. I'm so jealous. Like, he has those little flyaways.
Yep.
I thought
They-
we were going back to the Star Wars portion.
No,
there for a
no,
second. I was like, yeah.
that'll be that we'll Patreon that shit.
Yep.
It's fine. But Leto's hair, I
Only
love
for you, one
this actor
viewer.
so much.
Mhm.
And those little flyaways make me so happy. I'm just so jealous of his hair. I think his hair is immaculate.
This dude can
I'm
pull
so-
off.
I'm-
I'm so jealous of you.
Yeah. This dude can pull off several haircuts too. Like I've seen him with
Okay,
various
well,
crazy
if we all
haircuts.
wanted to know what I actually want, I'm going for Elia's hair.
Yeah.
So you could pull it.
Yeah. So anyway.
Terrible, dude.
So anyway, Pega does a better job of reintroducing himself to Mayu, and does a magic trick to give her a flower.
Oh, it's so good.
And now she's not freaked out and will stay there so they can keep her safe. And Pega adorably teaches her how to make the fake flowers that they sell. And then we get a Showa ass kaiju show up.
Do we ever?
I appreciate the fuck out of Tyrant. Tyrant is a great
Feeling
design.
that Showa.
So Alex, Tyrant is a combination of 5 kaiju that had been killed by Ultraman that amalgamated to take revenge.
You literally just can't let it go.
Oh, yeah.
Let it go.
And so this thing is just a bunch of pieces of various ones thrown together.
This screams of the old, like, we're just gonna take this suit from this other studio.
Which they did in the Showa era.
Yeah, honestly. But that was them
Why
owning
it's
it.
so Showa.
Oh, and then we find out because Moa goes to the library to do research, we find out that Laiha is the only survivor of a kaiju attack that killed her family.
Are you saying she had a little star?
Yeah, sure.
What do you think her little star power was? I'm thinking swords.
I mean, I'm not going to spoil that for you guys, but
Was it swords? Am I
we'll
right?
find out. We'll
was-
find out. We'll find out. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, we've got plenty of season left.
Or was her little star power that of I could be an ultra woman?
If only. That would have been a great choice for this character, honestly. I would have
'Cause-
loved it if they had done that for her, but they don't. Next
'Cause, like-
season, we get an Ultra Woman. Not this season.
Because like the dialogue she
About time.
has here kind of made it feel like that was a possibility.
And again, I wish they would have. Like, I get it would have been a lot of Ultramen, but we also have 3 by the end of the next show, sort of. So,
It's fine.
so yeah. Then
Every
Then-
team needs a Robin, and Riku's Robin.
honestly, kind of. So yeah. So then G tries to fight Tyrant, and it goes about as well as you would expect.
Terribly because he for some reason refuses to transform.
I mean, he transforms. He just always starts in primitive, which I love the design for, but primitive is not always the right choice.
Yeah, you'd think the stronger versions of his suit would be more desirable.
hmm Well, the way I've always viewed primitive, like most Ultramen, their base form is like the balanced form, and then you get like they skew in one direction or another direction at the cost of like something else. So, like Acro Smasher is fast and is good at energy attack. Like precision energy attacks at the cost of it's not like just blunt force power, and solid burning is really good at just raw, like
Raw dogging, yeah.
yeah, sure, just raw dogging. No, it's good at like generally like it's a much stronger physical fighter, but it sacrifices speed, and while it has good energy attacks, it doesn't have those precise ones that Acro Smasher does, and Primitive fits somewhere in between those two. So it's not bad. Like the argument's always been that it's that they start in the base form and then tailor switching forms to what they think they need based off of that first interaction. But I mean, like you can already tell this thing's bulky. You might as well switch over to solid burning right away.
Yeah. I mean, Solid Burn does have, a pretty precise attack. His corkscrew swagger.
hmm Yeah. Then we get
I don't remember the name. I just know corkscrew is part of it.
yeah
I mean, that is one of the best forms.
yeah.
Hey, where you
And
going,
then we
girl?
get Zero showing up, and now they're gonna fight against Tyrant together. And again, it kind of works, but they don't really do enough damage until Zero goes beyond.
-0?
And then the universe just stops.
Hell yeah. That's when 7 shows up. It just kills everyone.
Yep. If only. But no, so Zero transforms and he makes 2 giant ass energy blades to fight Tyrant with. Which again, I appreciate that Zero's Beyond form has like just this plethora of different things it can do.
He combined 4 different ultras. He's
5 ultras if you count himself.
Yep. Then he shoots his energy blast out of his arm crystal and destroys Tyrant. He's like, I'm gonna take care of my daughter. I think you mean she's my daughter. Close enough.
Oh, it's corkscrew jamming.
Yeah, it's a goofy name. So yeah, then Jeed off in the distance is fighting Skull Gomorrah with
Again.
our buddy as his base. Good old Red King with his fancy rock.
It's not even red.
Alex, have I talked about that I got this Red King action figure to you, and that the accessory it came with was a rock for it to hold?
no, I don't think you did.
Yep. I got this on sale.
And
I
you
was
paid too much because Red King.
I was excited for this, and then when I got it, I found out it had a rock, and I was like, "Oh shit, this thing has a rock. That's even better."
This thing's got a rock.
Yep.
It's not even a
Hell yeah.
plastic rock. It came with a real rock.
Honestly, I would have fucking been fine with that. I would have been cool with it.
It's just a crystal of quartz.
I would have been cool with it. Yeah. So then, Liha and Mayu. Well, Liha has to keep Mayu safe. She's like, all right, well, I'm gonna protect you if Riku can't. And Riku brings out his fucking claw thing and starts jetting around.
Wee!
You have to, and
What's wrong? Why is your nose so wet? I'm sick.
We get like decent fight here and there.
I mean, the sword fight on the bridge was pretty alright.
I mean, we're not quite there yet, but yes, I agree. That's probably the best fight in this episode. Not even probably. That is just the best fight this episode. Yeah. Mayu wishes for Jeed to be able to stop the fight, and her belief in Jeed gives him a new capsule, the Ultraman Zero capsule.
Her dad's
And
just in there, just seething, like it should have been me.
yeah, which means
Oh
that
crap!
we
That's
are.
not enough.
This means we're also halfway to a new form for Jeed.
We're halfway there. Whoa.
I'm already halfway there.
Yeah.
I like mine better.
Then we cut
Yeah,
to.
well, our generation will understand my reference better than yours.
Yeah, well,
I think
fuck our
both will
generation.
understand. Both are understood. Anyway, so then Liha begins to square off with Fukuita K on a bridge.
Yeah,
I want a replica of that cane so badly.
and we get a flashback of her being Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, she talks about how the Skull Gomorrah showed up to kill
Also,
her family.
why does she look older here in her flashback as Dora the Explorer than she does presently?
I don't know, dude. It's weird. I think it's just the hair. Like, I don't.
It's
Maybe
the
she.
hair for sure.
Maybe it's just the bangs look weird on her.
What,
I
you
don't
don't
know.
think that bangs make you look immediately younger?
I think that
No.
I just think it's weird. Like, I'm not gonna say that like bangs is a bad call for her, but I don't think that makes her look like 13.
Also, she has tremendous eyesight here
hmm
because that bridge is like 2 miles away from her, and she can see this guy clearly.
Yep.
Well, she's not your average human.
She's what you would call a little star.
hmm And then her own little star flies off and dissipates.
Yeah, because it doesn't trust her anymore.
Yeah.
It gave her up instead of her giving it up.
Yep. Then we cut back to the present, where Liha is ready to fight Fukuita K on the bridge.
God, does she actually fight this guy?
Dude, this is a real fucking good fight. Honestly, I like this fight a lot.
She's
It's
just
good.
doing these like acrobatic moves, and he's just like, bam.
Yep.
He's
I mean, he's got
wonking.
some. He's got some pretty accurate deflections and counters.
Yep. And he also has those shockwave attacks that he does a couple times.
That she blocks with her sword,
Yes.
and then she punches him in the dick and wins. Open palm punch.
Yeah, palm straight to the cock.
Hey.
So yeah.
He does do the Anakin block though.
hmm Oh, that was a good.
Mm,
That's like the first actual block he does, and it's really good. Yeah, just as Liha is about to kill Kay, a golden light bathes her in in its radiance, the same golden light
Jesus Christ.
that was her own little star.
Oh,
I wonder if that means anything.
that is still disappointed in her?
And then Leto tries to go and stop Kay, and a barrier pops up, and Kay disappears.
Oh my god, he's her little star.
If only.
Oh, damn it. Thought I was on something.
Nah, unfortunately not.
I can only be right so many times for these shows.
Yep. And you guessed too many things last time, so you got to be wrong a couple times this time.
Yeah.
So anyway, our Defense Force men in black watch from the distance. And then we cut
I'm
to...
so happy to see them again.
Yeah. Then we cut
Yeah, they both
to...
have like the same thought though, as they both like look off wistfully into the distance.
Yep. So anyway, we cut to the Nebula house, and Rem is scanning Liha to make sure she doesn't have a little star inside of her, and she's like, "Yeah, no, this bitch doesn't have anything inside of her."
Are you a cop? You gotta tell us.
Do you think if they give her a pair of glasses, it'll just come back?
She had glasses.
She does have glasses. No, she needs to put on
Maybe
that
she just
Michigan.
needs a sword made out of stone.
No, she just needs to put that Michigan sweater on again.
Oof.
Yep.
I'll just give her one from my universe. It'll be fine.
So anyway, then
Ew.
Liha talks about how she heard the voice of the
Texas.
little star. The
She
little
wear it
star.
just fine.
Little star's like, "Hey, don't do this. You're not a killer. Stop.
What?
Just stop it."
Here's a gun.
Stop.
She's like, "When I heard the voice, I couldn't stop. I couldn't like do anything else. I just had to put the sword down. Couldn't kill this man like I've been wanting to for 8 years."
So instead, she picks up something that's mightier than the sword, the pen,
Hmm.
and stabs him.
Repeatedly.
Just imagining being an American going over to Japan and like every other person is wearing a sword. Second Amendment.
Hmm. Yeah. So then they go over the point specifically that like they don't know what that voice was. No one knows for sure how it like what it was and why it was talking to her, but they just have to accept that Liha heard some sort of
And can she please
voice.
be an ultra woman?
No, she's
Unfortunately not.
just human.
We get
Or
that
is she?
next season. I'm doing a thing. People out there know what I'm doing. Hopefully our viewer knows what I'm doing.
Oh, I also know Cowabunga from the TMNT.
420.
Happy
New Year's.
Our viewer might know that one. I don't know which
Mr.
ones you've
President?
watched, but our viewer might know it.
See, I was spitballing at that point.
Yeah, and that's how our episode ends. Yeah, we've had a couple of really good ones so far. I would say out of the 9 episodes we've watched up till now, there's only one that I really don't like. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
that
have any.
episode.
I don't really have any complaints either.
yeah.
Whew.
Any final thoughts?
We get a returning kaiju in the next episode.
We do.
It's not so much of thought as it is a spoiler.
I mean, there's a lot of returning kaiju in this show. So
Well,
far,
I'm just saying that Josh didn't really meet the moment there. He just did his own thing and probably reduced the quality and returnability for our viewer.
yeah,
It's just
Hey,
that's fair.
a little disappointing.
but look how many thoughts you just had because of my comment. And knowledge is power. And that's half the battle. G.I. Joe. In case you guys didn't get the reference out there.
Yeah, I was gonna think you were going for Reading Rainbow, but
No.
So yeah, with that being said, tune in next time where we talk about episode 10 of
and
Ultraman G'd.
if
Bye-bye.
we find the time.
Yep. Bye-bye.